welcome to the Implant Solutions marketing update for 2023 year to date and look ahead at the third quarter. We always start in our current template just looking at a few notable campaigns that we worked on in Q2. These also occurred in Q1. It's just something we're continuing to develop and bang the drum on. So, a big emphasis for us because it's I believe it's perceived as a Buffalo product and it's our highest growth area in implants, is converting as many customers as possible to DTP. As some of you may know, in the past, we didn't really have a trackable means of converting people to DTP, but we fixed that issue by using a jot form to generate customer leads, which Elon and his team follow up on to go ahead and get them to send in their first case. So year to date, we have 19 new DTP customers that have been cross-sold into new products in DTP. Compared to calendar year 2022, that was 10 for all of last year. So we're on pace to really outdo what we were able to do last year. And a lot of that is because, well, we didn't even begin the JotForm landing page concept until late last year. And that just continues to gain traction. And we are just continuing to fine tune our campaigns and try to develop messaging that appeals specifically to Han customers, who are our most our best target for our DTP department because of all the benefits that come with being a Han customer and then working with Glidewell for our other services. So we've generated 92 leads so far this year. 35 were for multi-level surgical guides, which is more of a niche product than our other surgical guides. 38 were for our other three guides, the tissue, bone, and tooth supported, and 19 were specifically Han customers because we do send out campaigns, and something we're probably going to ramp up here is target Han customers more aggressively. Since, as I mentioned, that's our best opportunity. Elon's department and is smashing it. Obviously, they're almost up 50% year over year, so they're doing great work over there, and they're doing a great job of collaborating with our team in marketing and making sure we convert the leads that we generate into actual customers. Second notable effort is we fully have underway our new BruxZir implant prosthesis campaign. This might seem like a strange thing to highlight because the full arch department was actually down last quarter for the first time, maybe ever, at least since the BruxZir full arch implant prosthesis was launched. And but our marketing in that area is doing very well. We have a very aggressive, very controlled campaign that we make sure we don't have any of the discount abusers able to take advantage of. And so far this year, we've generated 175 leads. This is actually, we get more leads from this campaign than any of the other campaigns we do where we use jot forms. So this new promo is, I think, very attractive to customers. It's kind of hard to bring people in because these are complicated multi-appointment cases. But it's well, I think, worth the bandwidth that we're devoting to it. So of those leads, we've converted 14 into new customers. And that campaign launched in late February. So just in the 4.5 months since then, we've just about tripled all of the new customers we were able to gain in 2022. And something that I'm looking to do this quarter coming up is to just make this our default campaign for the BruxZir implant prosthesis. We do have a different campaign that's more of a traditional campaign where they send in a discount RX, but nearly all of the business we get from that are existing customers. So we're basically giving away money in those. I'm looking to just move away from that approach entirely. And just to summarize all the other campaigns that we've done so far this year, we do still have a traditional Han campaign when we're not running the seasonal promos that I'm sure most of you see when those go out. We have weirdly got 19 new customers through the traditional campaign where they actually paid full price for implants when they purchased their intro package. Our Han promos are also a great source. It's our best source of actually new customers and implants, along with some other Glidewell direct products, but we've netted so far this year 47 new, 32 restart, and then 395 cross-sell into Han. For our fixed implant lab, we've done about 313 cross-sells. Sales from campaigns so far, about $727,000. This is an area we're continuing to try to ramp up because our fixed implant lab is not meeting forecasts, so we're trying to help with that as much as we can. I already talked about the Bruxer implant prosthesis, the new campaign. The old campaign has brought in 3 new customers to the BIP, 1 new customer to the company, and 2 restarts. I already covered digital treatment planning. That revenue looks small, sales from campaign, but that's twice as high as all of last year. So we're making good incremental progress and making our campaign effective, or making our campaigns effective for DTP. Newport Surgical is a product line that's growing pretty nicely this year. Sales from our campaigns are about 175,000. You can see this is our second best source of new and restart customers. I think a lot of that is because we target a lot of campaigns for people who take take online CE and webinars, and those are not our usual customer lists. And our cost of marketing Newport Surgical is very low. It's pretty much a well-oiled engine at this point, though we will be adding a few products, which will add a wrinkle to it here moving forward. Inclusive prosthetic components is an area we focused on a lot more last quarter because we've seen those numbers are down. So we're doing everything we can to try to move the needle there. And we did have quite a bit more cross sells, new and restart in the second quarter than we did in the first quarter. These last few products are pretty minor items, relatively speaking, in the implant portfolio. So we don't spend a ton of time, but we do what we can with our resources. For mini implants, we're on pace to do better than last year, where we got a total of 8 new customers. We have 14 so far using our kind of standard campaign. But this is another area I'd like to convert to Jotforms, is because we see that's a much better method for converting customers for when you're adding an implant system to your practice. Implant overdentures, we've got 20 new customers. Those are mostly from our General RX book that we send out quarterly. And that's been one of the better, we're getting some of the better results we're getting from that RX book. We only had a total of 6 cross sells into overdentures all of last year. So even though we're not, spending a ton of time on it, we are doing a better job of growing the customer base there for that product. As always, we try to lead with Glidewell Implant Solutions, where Glidewell is a provider of comprehensive educational, surgical, and restorative solutions. These aren't associated to any specific promos. These are strictly customer awareness campaigns. And we just try to do this regularly because we are uniquely positioned as a company where we can be a single provider for everything dentists need to thrive in implant dentistry. Something coming this quarter, at least I hope this quarter the ball is rolling, thanks to Eldon and Batosh and a bunch of other folks, is having a Glidewell Implant Solutions tile on the glidewell.com homepage, which is something we've wanted for a long time. And now that we have control of the website, it seems like that's imminent, which I am very happy about.
Steve, sorry, when that's available, can you send me the link to that?
Yeah, so the link, the glidewell.com, it's just /implant-solutions. So, but as of now, you can only get to that through QR codes or email call to action buttons.
Mm-hmm.
So the page exists, but yeah, I can let you, or do you just want to know once it's on the home page?
Once it's on the home page. So
Sure.
Like a link that would take it directly to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, we probably devote more resources to converting Han customers than any other product in the implant portfolio. New customers so far this year in Q1 and Q2, we have 321 new Han customers, which is much more than we generated the first half of last year. Well, all of last year we did 429, but it's worth noting that 236 of those 429 came from our Black Friday campaign. So up until about November, we had only acquired about 190 customers. And so you can see the 321 is a much better number, considering we're only halfway through the year. So this campaign, I think, continues to do well, though the July 4th promo, we are seeing a lower customer response rate. Fewer people are filling out the Jot form. So we may need to look to like refresh what we're doing, because there is a little bit less meat on the bone as far as the initial concept of that campaign. And in Q2, we had so of those 321, 171 were acquired in Q2, 150 were in Q1. So we do have some momentum there, but like I said, I think the traction we're getting with that campaign seems to be slowing down a little bit. So we'll need to look for ways to refresh that. Implant restorations. This is an area where we did significantly more projects in Q2 than we did in Q1 because, as most people are aware, the implant lab is below forecast and a little bit below year over year. So, marketing obviously needs to provide all the support we can to get things moving in the other direction. Our general RX book has been doing well of moving customers to different products. You can see there are 119 that moved to new products, 28 that were first-time customers to any of our implant products. However, new accounts and restarts are pretty low for the high volume of these that we send out. That's a issue that we hope to see, we hope to see better results moving forward because we have a new list with a much better prospect list than we used to. So hopefully in Q3 we'll see that book perform much better. Our email campaigns were fixed. We've had 135K in sale, 43 new to product, and 13 new to any implant product that Gladwell offers of any kind. And we'll continue to do as many email campaigns as possible because they're a lot cheaper than mailing out 55,000 RX books. Clinical education. This continues to be an area of emphasis. It keeps customers engaged with our company. And whenever we have people coming to, say, the exhibit area downstairs at the Gladwell Clinical Education Center or by our table at a course or a show, that remains the most effective way to get new customers for things like HON and Newport Surgical. On the left, you'll see, we're about 3 months out from Restorative Implant Symposium. So we're really trying to ramp things up there and make sure we get as many people on campus as possible for that. What we did have there. Whenever someone comes to a course, we're trying to get in the habit of sending them a promo. Like so here, when we have people come in to take the full arch surgery and immediate loading, it's not like a prismatic product where you can give them a surgical kit or sell them some bone graft material and you're good. We don't really have a good way of getting them to commit to a product while they're here. So we make sure to send follow-up emails, just giving them a promo, letting them know why they should put what they learned to use with our company specifically. And then over on the right, we have the AAID Maxi course advertising that we've been doing. We've been spending a lot of time with that. That's something Dr. Park and I have been collaborating on for almost a year now. And so we're just trying to generate leads for the AAAI team so they can get them registered. For those who don't know much about the Maxi course, it's very similar to the MISH Institute, whereas it's a 9-module continuum where if someone takes this, they can become certified with the AAID. They learn basically all the skills they need to be a really good implant practitioner. The price point for this is about $15,000 compared to our $500 symposia. So it is, I think takes a lot more work to get people registered for it. That being said, so far we have, I think, 15 people that have paid a deposit, and we have 40 people who have registered, but the Maxi course team is still working on collecting payment from them. And our target is about, if we get 35 to 45 people here for that, I think we'll consider that a success. Obviously, we want to do better. But this would be a really good thing for Glidewell because, you know, the Maxi course is a very esteemed program. And if we have a full scale continuum offered on our campus every year, I think it would be great for everyone involved, especially anyone working with our various implant products. So key initiatives for the third quarter. A lot of folks have probably heard that we are going to be rebranding Han as a Glidewell branded implant system, which is an absolutely enormous undertaking. Um, so, you know, I'm working with our great new product manager, Rachel Moody, and all our great stakeholders and executives on, you know, figuring out what that brand's going to be, what these system enhancements are going to be, and so forth. And then we're continuing to try to reinforce our implant lab marketing. I'll try to. I mean, I will talk about that a little bit shortly. One thing that Anna talked about yesterday that I've sort of been talking to her about is adding call to actions that resonate with doctors who submit cases digitally. That seems like very important. And I think one of the reasons some of our implant lab campaigns seem to be showing diminishing results is that we only offer a call to action for people who use VPS material. So that's something we're going to be working hard to fix here in the third quarter. We're going to continue advertising for inclusive prosthetic components because the numbers are down. And we want to just keep pushing the needle in another direction. I'll be talking about this as well, but you know, we give away these very aggressive packages for Han customers with the cheap implants and the free kit. The idea is that we need to make sure we follow through with them and we make them good customers for our implant lab, digital treatment planning, other prismatic implant products. We're going to continue to plug away on our new BIP campaign, BruxZir Implant Prosthesis campaign. We have a lot of leads, so we make sure to keep following up with them to encourage them to send us a case, and then also reaching out to new leads that we generate with that campaign. Already talked about filling seats for the symposium and Maxi course, and something we'll be talking about later is launching a new campaign to promote our Essex retainers. So what I hope to accomplish from a marketing perspective for the third quarter is to create and obtain executive approval, get just consensus on what the new brand name should be for the what will be the formerly known as Han tapered implant system. Also develop a high-level brand framework. We do have until April, I believe, is the target to relaunch the system. It's really not that much time, so we have to get started on all the branding and what our story behind a Glidewell implant system is. As I mentioned before, I've been working a lot with Rachel, who has really rolled her sleeves up to figure out what the system enhancements are going to be. And that is going to be a real heavy lift. So, and we only need to make sure that all the system enhancements that we add to the system are, you know, properly added to the collateral we'll be developing to relaunch the campaign.
Are we going to call it a name change, or are we going to call it a new implant system launch?
I would say it's a name change, but with like a new and improved, like refreshed system.
Okay, but, so we're going to say, we're going to tell the dentist that, hey, we're changing the name, not.
We have to do a very proactive customer communication strategy to avoid confusion. So, I mean, it won't just be print stuff. I think we're going to have to be making a lot of outbound phone calls to people to avoid confusion.
What's the April driver for April, Keith?
Well, because they want to announce it and launch it at the May Implant Symposium. Okay. So if it's, you know, we say, oh, it's got to be ready like beginning of April, say, that gives us a little bit of a buffer.
But the biggest lift is not going to be on marketing at all, is it? It's going to be on the packaging and RAQA and.
I would say the biggest lift is
trays.
Yeah,
you know,
trays,
surgical trays, things like that.
Instrument modifications. I agree those are the heaviest lifts because we historically have had a hard time expediting those types of changes. So I agree the marketing part is easy, but it's still like a gargantuan effort. Like it's going to gobble up a lot of our resources.
Yeah. So our contract with Han doesn't specify the type of implant we use that he gets commission on. It's the name only.
Well, at the end of this year, we can call it whatever we want per the contract.
For
And
10
Okay.
years. We can use Han. We could leave it as the Han
No, I
tapered
know
implant system
that.
for
I
10
know we
years.
could leave it for 10 years, but I cannot believe we signed something that runs out in 10 years. That's unbelievable. And then we lose the name 100%. So, what can you just put GL Han, or is that completely we do get sued by Han?
well, I think
Can you just put more letters in front of it?
Jim very strongly wants it to be a Glidewell branded implant system and wants to remove Han. So, and you know, a lot of the stakeholders all seem to agree it's a good idea. So,
Good idea, but as you've pointed out, Keith, it's we've built a lot of brand recognition with Han, so
Unbelievable,
handling
yeah.
right. So we can't let this just be perceived as a brand new implant system out of nowhere.
No,
we need to
absolutely
make sure
not.
that it's
yeah.
I mean,
carried over.
there's in the US, let's say there's 12 really main systems being used at RS, right? And Han's number 4 right now. So it's a huge brand. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
We want to build on the 10-year. We launched this in 2015, so we want to build on the decade that we have. Not
yeah, and I
start over.
personally think it would be a mistake to remove Dr. Han from the story. I know of the many doctors I've talked to over the years. Like 90% of them, one of the reasons they switched to Han, it was because of Dr. Han's association with the implant. So I think we'll have to see how it plays out with how that goes with our stakeholders. But I would hope and certainly do my best to keep him as a part of the story, because he is like one of the most respected figures in implant dentistry, and for people who are serious about implants, his name does still carry a lot of weight.
Maybe it could be a part of a story how the whole implant started, and
Right,
sort of
exactly.
how
Yeah.
instrumental he was in the beginning of it, but now it's time for different name.
Hopefully he doesn't go to some other implant company and create another Han system, right?
He doesn't have enough years left for that, so.
Oh, well.
I wouldn't bet against him.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll try, and that could create some market confusion. But yeah, this is it's definitely happening. So we're just going to do our best to execute it, minimize confusion, and use it as a platform to grow the system even further.
Do
so,
we know? Sorry, do we know what
All
the
good.
Resnick's implant gonna be called? That
I
he's
didn't
coming
know
out
he
with?
was
The
making
actual
it.
name of it?
I didn't know he was making an implant.
Not Resnick, sorry.
Yeah, that's news to me. too.
Niznik.
Oh, Niznik.
Niznik is Paragon.
Paragon.
Yeah, I
that-
believe he's resurrecting Paragon.
Thank you.
His $99 one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So another continued point of emphasis will be trying to market our implant lab the best we can. Our flat rate lab fees message we've been leaning into this year seems to be working really well, and we need to kind of use that as a foundation for when we are able to add whatever it is, 18 new implant systems, which looks like it's going to be happening probably Q4. Another area that we just launched a campaign for this, so it's not really part of Q1, Q2, but we are trying to bring back outsource milling, at least have a marketing presence for it. So we have launched a campaign, we have generated some leads, and we are working on adding a page to our website. So if someone's looking for outsource milling, they can find us, because as of now, it's a secret menu item. And it's been, that area of the business has been hemorrhaging for, I think, various reasons. But I think one of those reasons is that we don't even admit that we offer such a service. So we're working on fixing that. As I mentioned earlier, I'm really inspired by Anna's ideas. I've been concerned for the last few years about the trend toward digital, because then it makes it, every time we send out a marketing piece, it's only half the audience is receptive to it because they don't want to send us a PrintRx. So I'm kind of just following her lead and trying to do something about it. So I'll be copying a lot of what she's been doing for Bruxer and bringing that into our lab campaigns for Implant Fixed.
Are you able to clarify it all just real quick, Keith, on that digital piece? It's not that marketing doesn't know that digital is the future and has been and is the majority now, but it's it's limitations within our systems. It's not that we don't want to be promoting to digital customers. It's that we
Yeah,
can't
so
do that.
I would say it's been business tools, right? I know in the past I've like, worked with CDOP and been like, what can we do to make sure that, so if someone like say types in a promo code into the case instructions, what can we do to make sure that's flagged and that the customer is billed properly and that marketing is credited properly for having created that customer conversion. And it's kind of a manual system as of now. But I think Anna smartly has been like, okay, we have limitations, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't be trying and just doing our best. So I think there are always going to be customers who try to redeem a promo, but it is not flagged because it's a manual system to like, we're depending on someone reading it in the case notes and then adding instructions for shipping to bill it properly. But I'm like, we can't wait around forever. And so I'm fully on board with Anna's concept of, all right, well, let's start having a digital CTA. Let's notify CDOP, let them know what we're doing, and ask them to just, simply do their best to make sure that the promos are applied correctly.
Yeah, but just so the business is aware, that is the risk we're running here, is that we're promising a lower price. The customer may not be billed that lower price, and we could be, negative customer experience, angry phone calls. Why isn't my billing?
Right.
So that's been the impediment to us doing this
Absolutely.
earlier on a larger
That's always
scale.
been my concern. Same with like trying to relaunch the ITRS, right? Is that we don't have the business tools to make sure that somebody is not billed twice for the final restoration if they buy that complete implant to crown solution. But
is this something that might be like fixed as a part of LMS or not really, or is this a completely separate project?
I won't pretend to know, but I think I've heard or seen IT say that they expect that system to address some of those issues, but I've only heard like some vague, not promises, but like assurances that things will be better. I'm a little skeptical just because I don't know. It seems like when we try to make enhancements like that, they tend to move slow and then maybe don't deliver what we might hope. So I'm just hoping for incremental progress. And I believe Anna's had a pretty good experience so far. There hasn't been any kind of backlash or feedback about angry customers not getting their promo. So I'm gonna hop aboard until we hear otherwise. And I think maybe as CDOP gets more used to us doing promos like this, it will become more habitual to screen the case notes for promo codes. Multi-level surgical guides. We've been sort of updating the design of these. So I'm working hard with all the DTP stakeholders to update our collateral, and sort of we've been relaunching that campaign. And so we're going to continue to look for as many opportunities as we can to generate leads for Elon's team through that JotForm process that I covered earlier. This is, we launched this back in March, but we're really now in earnest trying to grow that customer base. And I think Elon's team has been getting a higher number of these cases than we expected. So we're doing pretty well so far. We just got to throw even more behind it to make sure all the investments we've made in that product pay off, and that dentists who do these really complicated cases can partner with us to provide that service. An initiative I really want to focus on in the third quarter is to make sure, I mentioned this earlier, but we really need to make sure when we basically give away all this implant stuff to these new HAN customers, that we get out of it what we expect. And when we launched this concept, we knew that HAN customers do twice as much business with our implant lab than other users of other implant systems do. They represented about half of our DTP customers and about 40% of our Newport surgical customers. So we've been digging into the numbers to try to see if their behavior is any different when they come in at a much lower price point than we used to offer. And so we looked at the initial HAN Black Friday customers. Their implant spend has gone up 50%. Their overall 10-dash spend has gone up 29%. Their 70-dash spend on Glidewell Direct products has gone up 118%. And their DTP spend has gone up 134%. So I think we are seeing that we get the kind of rising tide lifts all boats type of results from this campaign, which is good, but we still need to do, I think, be as proactive as possible and moving these numbers up even further. For example, about 20% of our new HON guided surgery customers are doing business with DTP. I think we can really push that number higher by just doing more proactive marketing that's targeted specifically at HON users. We already are doing that, but I think we can do a lot more. And then as far as sales of HON implant fixtures, I think there's a lot of discussion around this, but year over year, we are up a tick in units, which I'm actually pleasantly surprised by because we sold so many in the fourth quarter of last year. I think there's reason to believe it would cannibalize our sales for this year. And I think it has, but still the fact that we're up on units is encouraging. The revenue for fixtures is down, and you can it's kind of small here, but you can see that the ASP for HON implant fixtures is down about $20. So every unit we're losing, not losing, but we're making $20 less per unit, which explains the revenue difference. So yeah, we just have to, once we create the HON customer, the job is just half done. Moving them into our other products is essential to completing our whole strategy for HON. I've been working on Newport Surgical product additions, including we're replacing our private labeled allograft with a Raptos branded product. The reason we're doing that is because our cost is much less with the Cytogenix allograft. So that is, we're not going to see that boost sales, but what it's going to do is boost profitability for those, and that is the highest selling product in the Newport Surgical collection. So that'll be a good thing we're going to have much better margins for that. And then just we're adding Biotech's PTFE sutures as a resale item to just round out our collection and make it more comprehensive. And the small project feasibilities for these are currently in ETQ, and we have updated contracts from Cytogenix. So I do anticipate that we'll be able to launch these products this Q3. I talked about this before. Darius and Caesar are always really great about reaching out to me about ideas they have for kind of growing implant lab business. One thing that they've been really outspoken about for good reason is that we haven't been paying enough attention to Essex retainers. We basically have very minimal representation of this product in our marketing. You can find it on our Universal RX and on our fee schedule, but that's about it. So that product is growing 40% year over year. They're on track to sell over $1 million worth of these. So the idea is if we actively market these, that we can grow the product even further. So I do think there's a really good opportunity here, despite the fact that it's not, the most like mind-blowing product or anything, but it is, we are seeing it grow and we are seeing a big demand from it for dentists. So we want to kind of put some momentum behind that and help them out with hitting even bigger numbers with that product.
Thank you, Keith. Appreciate that. Yeah,
I think
we're just trying to beat Daryl's burrito sales. Actually, that's the number one goal here, and then we're gonna concentrate on other effort.
Yeah. So
good luck.
So we are actually shooting photography for these today, and I think we'll probably get our first e-blast out in probably about 3 weeks would be my guess. And sort of touching on the point I made earlier about having digital calls to action, this is a product that 80% of these cases come in digitally. So we are going to have a digital call to action for those folks, and we'll see how that goes. And then the last section is on KPIs. We had, as you can see, we're 11% below forecast, about 4.5% below what we did in 2022 this time last year. 19.8% is a little down from where we were last year as a percentage of enterprise revenue, where we were 21.2 last year. So I know this is a big area of concern. It's a big area of concern for me, and I know it's a big area of concern for everyone. So, you know, we are receptive to ideas. Anything if anyone has marketing ideas, like I said, I love when Darius and Caesar reach out, and you know, we're very open to suggestions people have of ways marketing can better support reversing this trend. Active accounts for Implant Solutions is up 3.3% this year. That's 35% of total enterprise, which is down a few percent from the 2022 number. And I'll talk about this a little bit in a few slides, but our active accounts seem to be doing fine, which I think you can deduce possibly a trend that implant spending is down in the industry. For new accounts, we're down 11.6%. This accounts for about 15% of enterprise, which is a tick lower than what we've seen historically. I mentioned this before, but hopefully I'm hoping our general Rx books having a better prospect list is going to help with that, because that's one of our best ways to try to actually bring new business to the company. Restarts, this is a metric we're doing pretty well in. We're up 4.2% year over year. That's about 23% of enterprise. Last year, this time we were actually 15% of enterprise. So our restarts are actually relatively doing very well. I think a lot of that is because of the aggressive HON campaign creates a very high number of restarts. Cross sells, we are down 2%. We're 25% of cross sells enterprise wide. We were 20% last year, so relatively we're doing better. But we obviously want to be beating what we did last year, so we're going to continue to do everything we can to push that the other direction. And I haven't done a huge deep dive, but Nolan has been nice enough to create some nice dashboards for me, because Darius and I have been talking, and everyone's been talking a lot about like what's going on with implants. We've historically seen the implant lab grow double digit every year, and this year we're down a little bit. So we do see active accounts up versus last year, which I think that not just implies, I think that means that spend per account is down. So it's not that Darius and his implant lab is doing great work, and that's why we have our active accounts are going in the right direction, but we're seeing spend go down. And just to confirm that, I had a big dashboard created. I haven't had time to do a deep dive on it, but if you look at Q1, our average spend per implant lab customer, this is spend with the implant lab specifically, not with the overall lab, was down 4.8%, and Q2 is about the same, 4.7%. So our implant lab is down 2.4% year over year. I'm no data scientist, but I think that a lot of this is accounted for just average spend going down. And the fact that these people aren't leaving our implant lab,
I think definitely the economy for sure. It's expensive.
Yeah,
our flipper business is the cheapest way to make it, cheapest way to replace a tooth, and that's booming. And our implant is the most expensive way to get a missing tooth replaced, and it's going down. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So we do have some headwinds here. I don't think this trend is going to last forever. I mean, as long as we continue to provide good restorations to our customers and marketing does our best to support, I think we will see these numbers turn around. But I do think there are factors that are out of our control. But we just, for what we can control, we just got to try to do our job as good as possible. So I'm very grateful.
We also, thank you, Keith.
Yeah.
Thank you. We also got Daryl and his team were able to provide us some top 40 accounts for each sort of product line, Bruxer Full Arch, removables, abutments and crowns, screw retain crowns. So this week we're calling all of them and just trying to get, as much feedback as possible to see, what they're satisfied about, what we could do better in terms of these products. And then, how's the customer service? Is a call center strong enough? And we also trying to get some feedback from them as well as, like how they doing. Is the office busy? Is it a little bit slower?
Right.
So we're getting all this feedback, and hopefully we'll be able to reach all of these accounts by the end of this week. And I will have some sort of summary of what we found out and stuff like that, and then we'll go from there. If there's some complaints about quality and specific products, we'll definitely come up with a game plan how to improve those even further, and then as well as any other feedback that we get. So hopefully we can finish that. We started on Tuesday, and we're trying to reach every single one of them and talk to every single one of them by the end of this week. And then we'll have more information on that as well. So just to try to get a pulse of our sort of top accounts, just in general, because they do represent a lot of big pie of that overall business that we have. So
That's
just
great.
a quick update.
Thanks, Darius. Yeah, I think when we see data like that explains some things, but then when you get at the actual customer voice, to put that data into context, that would be awesome. So thanks for doing that. And that's all I have for my presentation. Does anyone have any questions, comments, suggestions?